Welcome to the Black Tax. There's an African proverb that says, "Don't go where the harvest is plentiful, but where people are kind." When I first moved to Los Angeles, I wanted to kind of figure out the lay of the land. I quickly learned that in New York is who you know, in Los Angeles is who knows you. And I had some friends and some famous family members who were constantly dragging me out to different places and meeting different people. And it was great. I mean, I was always meeting somebody new, always connecting with someone else, moving things around, trying to become a new mover and shaker in La La Land. And on this particular night, one of my friends, she suggested that I hook up with her at this restaurant that her colleagues were going to. And it wasn't really a restaurant. It was more like cocktails, and you order a bunch of appetizers and you can pick and choose from the appetizers you want and just kind of just chill and giggle and just have a good time. So we were having a good time, and we kept ordering food, and all this food was just sitting on the table and nobody was eating it. So it was time to wrap it up and get the bill. And the waiter asked that they want to take the food with them. And everyone's like, no, good. We're fine. Thank you. And I was like, can you wrap all this food up for me, please? And he was like, sure, I can do that for you. Thank you. I appreciate it. So my friend kind of nudged me in the elbow. It's like, we don't take food. If we don't eat it, we don't take it. And I was like, okay, that's good for you, but I'm going to take all this food with me when I leave. So we get to the car. I get to my car. She's like, I think I need to explain a few things to you about how it works here in LA and how what you just did was a little embarrassing and made you look poor. I cocked my head to the side and I said, made me look poor? Okay, this is going to be a good conversation. So she says, when the perceived perception here is if you take food home with you, it means you don't have money to afford to waste things. And in this town with this level of people are very wasteful. And so you have to learn how to just go along to get along. And I said, let me stop you right there. Better yet, get in the car with me. Let me show you something. So she gets in the car and we drive down, not to Skid Row in Los Angeles, but near Skid Row. And I pull in and one of the guys like, hey, Malik, how are you? I said, hey, how you doing? You good? He says, you got some food for us? I said, I sure do. So I opened up the trunk of my car. I handed him 24 bottles of water and all the food from the restaurant. He says, I'll take care of it. I said, you got plates and forks? He says, I do. I said, well, here's some more plates. Here's some more forks and some napkins. He says, I appreciate you, brother. I said, I appreciate you too. Make sure you feed everybody. I gave him $20. We get back in the car and I drive her back to her car. And she said, do you do that with all the food you take home? If it's a lot, I do it all the time. If it's a little, if I see somebody, there's a woman who lives in a parking lot across from my apartment, I'll take her food all the time. I'll take her, water or, a bottle of vodka if necessary. But it just depends on the situation. Sometimes I'm not really hungry and I ate my food, but I didn't eat it all. And I know in a few hours I'm going to want to eat again. So I'll take it home then. She says, oh, we have to talk. We have to let people know about this. And I was like, absolutely not. I don't do this for the notoriety. I do this because it's what needs to be done. She was appalled. She was shocked. She was amazed. She was, what's the word I'm looking for? She was apologetic for what she had said prior to her seeing what I do. I've been very fortunate to have the life that I have had. I didn't grow up poor. I grew up upper middle class. I grew up in a neighborhood in Queens where people owned their homes. They were professional, mixture of professional blue collar workers. It was a very communal kind of space to grow up amongst Black professionals that I didn't have to see somebody in a job to know that I could do that. I lived it. But where my abilities shifted about food and waste wasn't how I was raised, because West Indians, they don't waste food. It wasn't that. It was my study abroad in Kenya. It changed my perception about everything. The wastefulness of clothes, the wastefulness of food, the wastefulness of water, all of it. It shifted my environment so much that I was like, okay, these are the things that I need to do differently so that I'm not contributing to the same factor. And if I do something differently as a potential leader, possibly it will make other people alter. I'll give you an example. So each year I buy 5 pair of sneakers and I alternate my sneakers every day. So I don't have the same problems, either one of my feet or foots or feet and foots. I've suffered from plantar fasciitis. I've torn both of my Achilles in the pursuit of running, broken bones in my feet. So I have to be very mindful of the cushion that I have in my sneakers. And when the cushion in the sneakers don't cushion like they used to cushion, it's time to get a new pair. It normally takes about a year, year and a half. And so I try to keep the sneakers clean. I try to make sure the sneakers don't rip. I try to make sure that the sneakers can be reworn by somebody who doesn't have shoes, who doesn't have sneakers. And so I wash them frequently, and then I make sure they're always deodorized when I take them off, so that doesn't have a smell, they don't stink, the whole bit, so they stay clean. I then buy 2 pair of socks, and then I put the socks, each pair of sneakers and the socks into a plastic bag. I tie it up. Now, where I used to live in Harlem, there was a small park, and in the small park, there are a lot of men. A lot of them are homeless. There's a soup kitchen not too far from that park. So I will go and just hand out sneakers, winter coats, things that I know as a man we need: deodorant, soap, a razor, stuff like that. And then going about my day. I tell the story about the restaurant because it's insulting and disrespectful to see Black people, who many don't come from nothing, most start at humble beginnings, act like it's no big deal to throw food away. It's no big deal not to understand what the struggle was before this happened. So I make it my business to do things. I make it my business to feed people. I make it my business to set an example for other things. So I want you to take from this. As a community, we don't take care of those less fortunate, and we need to start doing that. And it's not about the dollar you give the woman who's asking for $1 on the train. It's not about the young men who are selling candy for their basketball league, even though we all know there is no basketball league. They're just trying to make money because they're trying to pay for things that they want, sneakers, clothes, whatever the case may be. That level of entrepreneurship that we don't recognize as entrepreneurship, we need to recognize it as that. We need to be supportive of that and stop thinking the narrative that they only want the money for the sake of having the money because they don't want to go get a job. There are a lot of things people can't get a job. There are a lot of times people can't find work. So we should help support each other and be brothers and sisters in the struggle of community. There's a new thing where there is this group of millennials who are professionals, jobs in their careers, but they only spend their money in Black businesses in their community. Our dollar does not circulate in our communities more than 2 hours before it's taken out. Our dollars need to circulate within our communities continuously, over and over and over and over again, if we are collectively going to make a change. All I ask is one thing. If you can give it away to somebody who can use it, do that. If you can help someone who's homeless with $1, do that. Be grateful for the blessings that you have and understanding of those who may not. Stay woke. We out.